Ain't nothing peculiar about the way that I was raised, and my heart is on the way.
Hey everybody. Letting hubby know I was on my way home. So, hey everybody. Hope everyone is having a wonderful, pretty sure today's Saturday night, which y'all probably won't be seeing this until tomorrow, Sunday. So, hope everyone has a wonderful Sunday as well, and whatever day you watch this on. But I wanted to go ahead and get part 3 done. I don't think we had very much more to do on the part 2 of the conversation, but I was having since I'm doing commentary and stuff along with it, had to break it up into smaller portions, so that way it didn't end up being a whole 20-hour long thing. So, and kind of gives us time, you know, to kind of analyze it a little bit closer. So, all right, we're gonna get started. So we left off at where he was talking to the kayaker, and the kayaker was telling JJ that there's no way you would have been able to see her, and we were discussing about where I say us as in y'all, my warriors, and myself. We were discussing how she was covered up with debris and logs, and there was like no way that she could have did that to herself, you know, because like I said, zombies aren't real. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and hit play.
Well, like I told you, when I come out of there, I wasn't looking in the water. But like he said, it was just a mercy that I seen it. He said, there's no way you seen it unless you was looking hard, Johnny. I said, well, I wasn't looking at all. He said, well, it was a mercy that I seen it. The top of the shirt, you know, just the top of the shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, and now remember, there was no sign of any kind of red evidence, or y'all know we got a speaking code on these platforms, but there was no kind of like red evidence anywhere, you know, anything to indicate that something, I guess, tragic had happened. It was just the faint crying and the pop. So when he went in there was no red evidence either. So that's another thing too.
The top of the shirt, you know, just the top of the shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean that I've seen that water, like, so I can imagine, like, in real life how murky and stuff it is. I mean, it's not like, you know, you can see through it.
No, but plus, you know, where I went into there, you know, there was a bunch of trees in the water. Them trees are actually in the water. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? They all bonded in there together. I just happened to have a big enough path to get in there because I was in my little one-man boat.
Right.
You know, when I went on there with those people from New York, I was in my bass boat. I couldn't went in there with that boat. I don't care how high the water was, because my boat was too big.
Yeah. Okay, so he's saying he was in a smaller boat, and that was how he was able to get in there. But whenever he went with someone from New York or something, I guess some people that came down or something, and he was in his bigger boat, there's no way that he could have got down there no matter how high the water was. Like, there's just no way to do it. So I guess because his boat was small enough to be able to fit through there, and he said that he had to lift his trolley up some to be able to get through, and I guess different things. So it was kind of like, I don't know, I'm not real familiar with boats and things like that, but I mean, I would think common sense would be, you know, if it is a small, I guess I would have to see like the path visibly, but I mean, I'm sure from what I've seen online and like CJ's videos and things, you know, like he probably could have made it back there. I mean, it might have been a little bit of a struggle or whatever, like he said, you know, but you know, depending on what kind of boat and stuff he has.
But anyway,
you know, so.
Yeah, that's how I found out.
So you ended up just, I mean, calling him, and then that's how it wasn't like, you know, the kayaker just ran into you while y'all were there and like, hey Johnny, you know, like a lot of people are making it seem like y'all was like buddy and knew each other like that, you know. And I mean,
when I came out of the river and went into the slough,
yeah,
okay, he was over there beside the observation deck in the kayak.
Right.
So I went up right in the middle of the slough to the back of the slough. They didn't ever hear her crying. That's how I know she was crying. They never heard the crying. I'm the only one that heard the girl crying.
Right.
But yeah, I was a lot closer to her. But anyway, when I came back out of there is when I noticed that the kayaker was, I didn't see him. He had already left out. From the understanding that I got, I thought he told me that he had left.
To this part, because this is where he's talking about the kayaker and pretty much why he was stunned that the kayaker was the one that, you know, found her. And he goes into a lot more detail on this part on, you know, where the kayaker was and how he came into play. So, and this was something else that we didn't really have a lot of details on before, but we got a lot more this time. So y'all really pay attention to this part.
I don't know, I went fishing upriver because he wasn't catching no fish in that spot. So he decided to leave out the slough and go upriver. That was the indication I got that he had done.
Right.
Then he told me that he had went back to and I backtracked where I was at, but I just can't figure out when he done that.
Right, like he was just like watching you or something. So supposedly he saw the kayaker and he, you know, like he said, I guess maybe they saw, you know, talk chit chat or something in the water. I don't know. I mean, I'm just assuming on that. But saying that he didn't see the kayaker anymore and he knows he wasn't catching any fish where he was at, so he's thinking the kayaker either left or went somewhere else in the river to go fishing because he wasn't catching nothing. So in his mind, he's thinking the kayaker isn't around, you know. So he's thinking the kayaker's gone somewhere else and it's just pretty much him out there in that area.
Yeah, but not saying, you know, he
right. No. I just mean like, when something's going on, I mean, you're watching like what's going on and then, you know, people get nosy. So I mean, that's how I look at it on that. I mean,
yeah. Did you ever get the map of that place?
Of Lumberton?
No, of the slough.
I tried to rephrase that because I didn't want him thinking like I was just trying to make everybody suspect, you know what I mean? So, but I mean, you hear him like he was stunned that the kayaker had came in behind him after he went in there, I guess when he found the belongings and stuff, and that's when the kayaker found her. And he's thinking this whole time the kayaker's gone. So I mean, like, the kayaker's like not even around supposedly at this time, and JJ's trying to figure out like where'd he even come from, you know. And when I said, and I noticed like a little shift there when I said, oh, kind of like he was watching you. And you know, JJ, you know, which I can understand too, so because y'all got to think, you know, these are people's lives, you know. And you know, JJ is like, oh yeah, and then he kind of backtracks a little bit on that, and it was like, well, you know, not like, you know, anything bad or anything like that. And I mean, and we don't want to just throw people under the bus. I mean, we want to get the truth, but I mean, you see where JJ is coming from though. So I think that was a very important moment right there when he's talking about, well, the kayaker wasn't even around me. Like, I didn't even know where the kayaker was at. And then where he came from, and, you know, backtrack my steps and everything. Like, he was confused. So,
have you ever got the map of it?
Yeah, I've seen it. I don't have it like out right now or anything, but I've seen it and looked at it, and I saw that one that I didn't know that you had actually did the pinpoints and stuff on there, but on Natasha's map, I've seen that map online. So
okay, yeah, the 3 people in the boat. See, there was one man making out like they came out of there where Michael was at. No, they didn't. They were in the river part.
Okay.
Yeah, they were in the river part. They came into the slough, and I was thinking they might have heard that shot. That was the reason why they'd come in there.
Right.
And I asked them, I said, "Did y'all hear that gunshot?" They said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I heard somebody crying, then the gunshot, and then the crying stopped."
Right.
So that's when I looked back and I told them, I said, "Man, I can go." I guess they had just went ahead and left on out of there and went back to the boat landing. And that's when I looked back and said, "God, I can get my boat up in there. I'm gonna go up in there." And that's what I did.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, God. And then I think they started. I said, "Lord, I hope these people don't think I've told on them or done something," because I believe they started. I started seeing them on their questioning, like, "So what if we wasn't there or we didn't have nothing?" And I was hoping they didn't think that I had told on them or something, you know?
Right, like trying to throw somebody under the bus or something.
Yeah. I was hoping they didn't think that, but I didn't know them people. I didn't know.
Right, like trying to. And see, y'all gotta think too that what's like one of the biggest sayings there is, and especially one of the biggest sayings there is that snitches get stitches, you know. So, I mean, we got to remember that, you know, JJ's got to live in that area where these people live at too. So, I mean, he's got to protect himself as well. So, and I mean, you hear him like, well, I hope they don't think that, you know, like I was just like ratting them out, or not in the exact words, but, you know, ratting them out or, you know, whatever. Because, I mean, him coming out and talking and stuff did put him in harm's way. So we got to thank him for talking, because he is the only one that has spoken out, and you know, it's helped get us more answers than what we did have, you know.
I might run into them again if I go back to. I haven't been back in that river since.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, except for with the reporter that I went in there with, but I don't know.
You poor guy.
But I know. But I just knew, you know, when I had that map on there, and like I said, it did help a lot of people.
Yeah.
It helped a lot of people when I had that map on there, because you got to know that river. You got to know the river system.
Right. Yeah.
From the start. Just like, you know, they was asking about current, you know, about her body floating. There were, in that slough, I mean, that was one of the reasons why I went into the slough. I was going home, to be honest with you, but I decided to go up into that slough because that time of the year, I fish for bass.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times they go up in those sloughs because the water's calm and they're going there and lay their eggs.
Right.
And I have a better chance of catching a bass. And that was really the reason why I went back up into the slough. And as far as current in there, I believe there was one fellow on there. He threw a stick or something in there. Was doing some type of demonstration about floating. But there's no. The only time that you're gonna have a current in that slough like that is after a big hurricane rain or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But from it just being high from rainfall, you know, coming up from a rainfall, there's not going to be no current in that slough.
Right.
But now, that was one of my questions that I did have about, as far as where her body was found out. How did it get to where it was at?
Right. Yeah, and that's something that a lot of people question too, because it's like, you know, and then especially, you know, you didn't hear a splash, and people are like, how does he not hear a splash? He hears, you know, the faint cry and stuff, but
yeah, even on that Natasha, I told on Natasha's on the interview I done with her, I said, "Listen, Natasha," I said, "I can be in the river fishing, and across the river on the other side, I can hear when a fish jumps."
Right.
And I said, "What come I didn't hear no splash if she did fall in the water?" But anyway, when I went back to the park I'm gonna get back to the maintenance guy now that I know.
That was another key thing too, the splash. And he couldn't understand that either, that how come he didn't hear a splash, but he could hear like the faint cry and, you know, like little things like that. And, you know, like a fish jumping out of water, you know, a ways away, you could hear that splash, but you would think someone falling into the water, like dead weight in the water, you know, it's gonna be like good sounding splash, I would assume. So there was no splash. Right.
Yeah, his name was. I never really I knowed who they were when I seen them, but I never talked with them like that. Because like I said, they were ahead of me. My sister knows them more than I do. But anyway, I pulled up there to the park that Sunday. I was just trying to find out if they had found out anything. But he pulls up. Me and him go to talking, you know, and I told him, you know, about what had happened because he wasn't even working that day. So we talked and talked. He said, yeah. He said they found her. Said she shot herself in one ear and it come out the other side. And I said, do what? He said, yeah. He said that the gun was found also. I said, what? He said, yeah, it was found right down side of the bank in the water. Said that there was some spent 2 shell casings found there. Mm-hmm. And that's something I never seen, which I didn't really look that hard. I didn't ever see that neither.
Right. And that's understandable. I mean,
yeah, but I didn't spend time in there looking. I was just
right.
I seen that stuff and I knew what I was going to do with it. I wasn't going to take it. I've had
right.
I've had money took from me before. If I'd have been broke, I wouldn't have took that money.
Right. Right.
My mom and daddy raised me better than that. It'd take me about one time to get my tail tore up for stealing a piece of butter.
Oh yeah. Right. And see, like I've told this story before, we cannot get hung up on, you know, him taking the belongings and, you know, saying he's a thief, because that means that we would have to call anybody that has found our belongings out in public and returned it to us. So that way they knew that it came back to us safe. You know, I've had it happen, you know, 1 or 2 times. You know, I had someone come knock on my door and say, you know, hey, we found this in the buggy and we wanted to make sure that you got it back, you know, because as a mom, we know that your whole life is in here, you know. And they said they didn't touch nothing. The only thing they did was look at my ID and, you know, find where I was at. And I've done the same thing for others. So that would mean that I was a thief and they were a thief, and that's not the case. So we cannot get hung up on that. So, because I mean, if he found the belongings, picked them up and returned them, you know, I mean, now if he just took off with them and then never said anything about them, then that would be a different story. So, but I mean, I get where people are coming from for thinking that, because we always want to jump, you know, to, I mean, especially in this case, because there's so many twists and turns and so many holes and things and stories, and so I get it. And but I just want us to stay focused on what we need to stay focused on. So I don't want us getting stuck on one little thing that, you know, is, I mean, it's important, but not, I guess, like suspect. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. Oh yeah, I remember them days.
Yeah, but other than that, Veronica, straight up, other than that, I've had money took from me, and that's a bad feeling. And I'm gonna tell you something else about that money too, because after I talked with Michael's sister, I found out that they was trying to get money up to get her grandmother here and everything, because I kept in touch with Michael's sister. Mm-hmm. I said, Lord, I said, you reckon who will get that money that I gave to the law? She said, JP probably. I said, Lord, I said, yeah, if I'd have known that, I'd have kept that money and gave it to y'all.
Right. Yeah, or either that, the police are gonna keep it. Oh, we're gonna keep it for evidence. I've actually had them do stuff like that to me before.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like I say, if they did that mess, I mean, that's they got to live with that, not me.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Anything you do like that that's wrong, hey, you're gonna pay for it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that.
I am too.
But yeah, that's about it. That's how my day of thought I was having a good day. I didn't even catch no fish. I just enjoyed being on the water that much. But that's just how my day went.
Man.
Never in a million years would I have thought something like that. And like I told other people, when I left from that park that evening, my heart was broken, and I thought that was the end of it.
Right.
Come to find out, that was just the starting of pure hell for me.
Right. Yeah. I can't believe. I mean, I believe it because I know people are just crazy and stuff these days. But I mean, I just can't believe that somebody would have the audacity to message you anything, accusing or anything without just, maybe asking or, I don't know. I mean, just saying that horrible things like that. That's just crazy to me. Like,
you see how his rump bowed down at the end, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
I told him to have a blessed day. He said, "I hope you do too," or something like that. He didn't say another cuss word to
Right. Yeah. So he's worried about the family getting the money, Micah's family getting the money. So, I mean, to me, that's what I would want, is for her family to get her belongings and get the money and, all that, and nothing go to JP Diddy, so. All right, I'm gonna stop it there. I think the rest of the conversation on this part was just kind of chit-chatting some about the messages that were sent to him. So, which they were terrible and nasty for even doing that, because that is not how you handle a situation. And, especially when we're trying to get answers. So, I just at least wanted to get this done for y'all tonight. So I did on my way home. Now I'm home. So now I'm going to go get ready for bed and get me some rest and get up tomorrow and repeat my hamster wheel. Keep going. So, but I love y'all. Make sure to, like, subscribe, comment, let me know what y'all think. Let me know if I missed anything in this part, or if anything stuck out to you that didn't stick out before, or comment where you're watching from. But if today's your birthday, happy birthday. I love y'all. Subscribe. Bye.